everybody. Welcome back to the Internet Nobodies podcast. This is Freddie, and we are here. We're all a little low energy today, but we're going to psych ourselves up talking about what we're going to be talking about, which we'll say in a minute. And let's see who we got with us.
Hey, it's P. And what were the writers thinking for 2020? That was such a bad year.
I'm Dale, and this fucking podcast should have ended 2 seasons ago.
I'm Sibs, and why am I still watching these shows?
I'm Freddie, and I got a super soaker. I'm going to go beat some aliens. Start the podcast.
Yeah.
Well then.
No boops today.
No boops.
It's that kind of day.
I don't have the power of boop today.
Boopity boop 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 boop. There you go.
All right.
Alright, so today we're talking about media in general. That started awesome, great, and just, what the fuck happened, man? How'd you get that far off the rails?
You were on top of the world, and the next thing you know, you're down in the dirt.
You know, when the main character leaves the show, maybe it's time to call it quits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Looking at you, Scrubs.
That 70s show.
Yeah. We'll get into that, though.
But yeah, so who wants to start us off?
As I said, let's start.
Yeah.
Pete, do you want to start?
Sure, I can start us off. Let's start off with what I literally just said. Scrubs. So, Scrubs, and funny enough, that 70s show, for a time, fought for my love. I love them both so much. But Scrubs was always my favorite. It was always on top for me. Loved everything about it. Just gold. And when the season came that Zach Braff's character, JD, was leaving, I was heartbroken. And the final episode with him in it was just like beautiful and inspiring and like was hopeful for the future. Like, I didn't even expect anything after that. I was like, this was a great show. I'll miss it. And then a new season announced. I was like, well, I guess if they focus mostly on Turk, this will be okay. And maybe Dr. Cox, and, you know, they can work on that. And sure, the season did have that, but the show's main focus was on a bunch of new people. And for some reason, everybody's a teacher now. Like, they're, like, teaching med school. Like, I still don't really... Like, the season was so bad, I don't even remember, because I just couldn't, like, I watched the whole season, don't get me wrong, because I was like, maybe it'll get better. Like, I was on the hope train, and that train was, like, had a lot of gas because of how good Scrubs was.
Yeah.
But I didn't care for the new characters, and they did have Turk and Dr. Cox, and JD even showed up in it occasionally, like in like 2 episodes, but it didn't focus on them. They were like they were the side characters. They were the Bob Kelsos of the show. Like, they were only there a couple of times just
I can't even remember this season. I don't remember even watching it.
It wasn't good.
I think I watched like a few episodes. I'm just like, this is trash.
It was. So, as far as anyone knows, like, so yeah, like, I will, you know, so I don't even know if I should consider it part of this conversation of, you know, being great and then just failing at the end, because as far as I'm concerned, Scrubs finished when JD left. And this should have just been called something else.
I think
a
it was
spin-off
actually like
or something.
a season or two
Scrubs, the next series.
Scrubs next.
I feel like there was like a season or 2 before that where I thought like this actually would have been a better ending. I can't remember what it was, but like I think of him like finding out that he got that one girl pregnant or whatever.
would have
Like-
been like a good ending.
Not that exactly, but I feel like because it went on for a couple seasons after that, right? And then it was like about him like raising
Yeah.
the baby.
No, the baby was barely in it.
Oh, it's been so
It-
fucking long.
Yeah, like the whole thing is like, how do I process this in my brain to explain it? So when he found out that the other doctor got pregnant because of him, like they still talked. She was barely in it either. Like they even brought back another character to be her new love interest, which was Elliot's old love interest. It was a really funny.
Oh, Kyle?
I don't remember his name.
The
But-
German one.
Sure, I don't know. I know what he looks like.
Yeah,
He
I
doesn't-
know who
does
it
he-
is, but yeah.
He doesn't sound German though. But so yeah, there was that whole thing that I thought was pretty funny, but they didn't like build on it at all or anything, and even he was barely in it. And the show just mostly continued to focus at Secret Heart, and yeah. So it's almost like nothing changed. They just pretty much used it as an excuse for JD to leave, which was fine. Like I still thought that was a great ending.
Yeah, because at that point, yeah, kind of when you say, like, yeah, they're bringing back all these characters for, like, these gimmicks, but, like, they're barely even in the show. At that point, the show's just kind of, like, spinning its wheels, and it's just like, okay, maybe this should come to an end now.
Yeah.
Because there's no, like, plot development happening anymore.
No, I mean
Outside of
that's
him
the
having a
thing. They
kid.
were. I think that's why they brought in those new characters, because they brought in like those two female doctors, Sunny and
Share.
Sure. No,
God damn it.
like it was Sunny and I can't remember what the other person's name was, but she
Not
was like,
important.
yeah, not important. They tried to like they started putting a lot more focus on them because they're the new residents and they were being trained at the hospital by, JD and Elliot and Turk. They were they weren't the main focus though, but they had a lot of focus put on them.
Oh, right, I remember, because one of them was, like, super bubbly and optimistic, and that was causing
Yeah,
problems, and
that-
the other was super cynical and, like, apathetic.
Yeah, they were too extreme.
Yeah, like, one of them was just like, well, you're gonna die in 5 days.
Yeah.
James
sucks,
like,
right?
could you have a bit of bedside manner? She's like,
No.
why? What's the point? It's just like, okay. But yeah. And then that 70s show had the same problem, where
Yes.
Topher Grace left. And then they're like, what if the show kept going, and we brought in some other guy who was like
Hot blonde man.
a bad
Wasn't it
mix
supposed
of
to be
like,
like his cousin or something?
I think so?
I don't even remember. Once again, it's one of those no one remembers because nobody fucking cares.
Pretty much.
It happens to almost every show when they replace or when the main character leaves, because unless it's the kind of show where like everybody dies, in which case it sometimes works out okay. But
Yeah, it was Randy was his name, and yeah, like he never fit in with the group. And then also that season was also the season where Jackie and Fez got into a relationship,
oh
and
yeah,
and Hyde had a wife.
yeah, that was a weird.
Yeah,
season.
that was weird. Also, didn't Ashton Kutcher also leave though?
He during that season he showed up less and less, and then I think eventually, yeah, he also left the show for the last season, which no one remembers.
Yeah.
Where
Like,
Eric
the
finally
only
does
thing-
come back at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say people only remember the last episode, which was when the 70s were coming to an end.
And then Eric just like showed up.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm back from Africa.
Which was so funny because Donna was like about to leave to go to school because she's like, I can't wait here for him anymore, and then he comes back. I really want, like, I would like to think that she went to school.
I would
And
hope
still
so.
was- yeah, because like I think that would be a sucky ending if she ended up not going.
Yeah.
because he came back.
It's also a
Yeah.
terrible message.
Yes.
Yeah.
For such
the whole-
a like
but-
for such a like
A very-
strong character,
a
like
strong female character. Yeah, she's always about that. Like in the show, she's like she's just like, bitch, I can do whatever I want. This isn't the 50s anymore.
Exactly, and the 70s things were supposed to start being more progressive. So if she didn't go,
Yeah.
it would kind of be the letdown of the decade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great show. That show was so
Yeah.
good.
So funny.
I still love
also,
the pilot episode where they're just imitating all of their parents, and it's just the parents talking, but it's the kids doing like fake voices.
and then they go, and then they all start dancing.
Hey kids, let's hustle! Yeah. Fucking Midge.
Such a good show. Side note, I love that Mila Kunis was too young to be in that.
Yeah.
She lied about her age because they only had people who were like 18 and older play the parts, but Mila Kunis, who at the time was 15, lied saying she was 18, and I'm just like, who the fuck fell for that?
Doesn't hold up in court.
If you go back and
She
watch
looks like
the
she's
first...
12.
Yes,
Yeah.
she looks like a 12-year-old. Like, who fell for this? I mean, I'm not complaining. She did a fantastic
Oh,
job.
she was
Oh, yeah.
great.
Her character was spot on for what they wanted, and it was just great. I loved it.
God, just the opposite of Donna, where she's like, no, it's my job to cook and clean. My husband will take care of everything.
Never mind that she
What?
also didn't do much cooking and cleaning.
No, she was
Not
so
at
fucking
all.
spoiled. Oh god.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, she was.
her parents were loaded.
I thought you were. I thought you were saying that Donna did that.
No,
I was
no,
like, what?
no.
You're saying
no.
she. I get it.
Yeah, she was the opposite
Yeah.
of Donna at the
Yes.
start. Then she started to get, her shit together. But yeah. So I was thinking that
Yeah.
one line of like, Michael, were you playing with a dog before, we were fooling around? No, babe, I totally didn't play with a dog. And then the end of the episode, hey, remember when I said I wasn't playing with dog before we started fooling around? Yeah, I lied. I just got done playing with like 5 dogs. And then the end credits is him looking at a group of dogs being like, sorry guys, I can't play with you anymore. Oh, what the hell? Who wants their belly rubbed?
Yeah. Going back to how the endings suck though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got,
Yeah,
Freddy or
yeah.
Sibs?
Well, I have a list of stuff as well. We were talking about how, change of actors. So let's just talk about Doctor Who. Which should change actors all the time.
Right, so
and you never know what
yeah.
you're going to get.
Yup.
it's the box of chocolates.
Hit or miss, very much so.
And right now, it's very much a miss.
Oh, that's sad.
And it's nothing to do with Jodie. She's a very good actress.
I love Jodie, just I couldn't get into it.
And no.
This might not even be her. It's probably not even her fault. It's probably just the direction
It's
that
the
they're giving
director
her.
and the writer. The
I-
showrunner.
The direction
yeah.
they're giving her is just not good.
Yes.
Well, also, the handful of episodes that I watched, I just wasn't feeling the chemistry with the companions. And half of the show is the interplay between the Doctor and the companions. It's the same reason that, I liked 11,
Yes.
but as soon as Clara became the companion, the permanent companion, I couldn't stand it anymore. And
Yeah.
it's the same reason that I had a very hard time with 12, because I didn't like her as that character with either of them. Her as
Yeah.
Oswin was great. Her as the governess in the Christmas special was great.
Very
Her,
good,
once
yeah.
she became permanent, no, didn't work for me anymore.
Yeah, no. See, I had the same problem with Amy.
See, but I loved Amy. Mostly because of her, mostly because of Rory, though.
Yes. Rory was amazing.
Because she started out as a very self-centered character, and then Rory gave her all of the growth throughout the entire series that they were in.
Yeah. But, it's... Right now, it's just a very big miss. And it's just kind of like... Where is it going to go from here? Because you're kind of messing up everything now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the episodes seem to be very preachy now, too. A lot of it was like, let's go to the civil rights movement. Let's go to this. Let's go to that. And I'm just like...
Oh, I gotcha. It's not about, the adventure. It's about
it's right now it's more like...
I mean, because
They're
they
trying to
always
be
had...
woke.
The whole thing is, they always had a message.
Yes.
But while they were just going on space adventures.
Exactly. Now they're kind
Like-
of beating you over the head with it.
Like the Ood.
Or
I love
like
you.
how you can't save the people from Vesuvius.
Mm-hmm.
Or Pompeii,
Yeah.
rather. Pompeii. You can't save the people from Pompeii erupting. No matter how much you might want to, because you know what's going to happen to all of them. You still can't intervene.
Yes.
Like that kind of thing. But
Now it's like Rosa Parks. Let's go talk about.
Which
I was like,
I don't mind.
I don't mind, but just the way they went about it.
Yeah. I feel like because of who they have as the Doctor right now, they're trying to tackle too many topics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that shouldn't have been a goal just because they have her now.
Yes.
Like, it should have been kind of keep the status quo, have maybe 1 or 2 episodes that touch on those things, just like every other series.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build her up from there. But
Yeah.
don't throw it all into the 2 seasons that you've only had so far. Too much, too quick.
Yeah. And they did stuff like the Timeless Child and random other Doctor who shouldn't even be part of the Doctor, because I get, like, she's supposed to be the Timeless Child, so she has infinite amount of lives now, which, okay.
Yeah, once you told me that, I was like, excuse me.
Because she's not from this universe, she's from another universe or something. I forget exactly what
parallel
happened.
worlds.
And as a child, she was brought in by this other woman, and she was, like, experimented on, trying to figure out how she keeps, like, regenerating and stuff. And then that was the founding of Time Lord Society, and she ran away, and then eventually she came back. Still, I don't. Trying to explain is making my head hurt.
I have a feeling at some point it'll
It's all
get back
it's
on
all
track.
wibbly. It's all
Yeah,
wibbly
but,
wobbly.
like,
Don't worry
it's
about
the
it.
was it Joe Grant who was the Doctor too? Is that her name?
I don't know.
Yeah, the other woman.
I didn't
Okay.
watch it.
But I
I
think that was
stopped
the
after.
actress.
I think I stopped after 3 episodes of Jodie. Unfortunately,
I kept watching. I don't know why. I was just like, this is a train wreck. It's going off the rails, and I kind of want to watch it, but I don't. Just can't look
Yeah.
away. I think it's because I'm so used to watching Doctor Who. I was like,
See, I have the relationship with it where if it's not keeping my interest, I don't have a problem dropping it, because it's the
Yeah.
kind of show where you skip a Doctor or a half a Doctor, and then you can pick it up from scratch when they start over again.
that is very true. Yeah.
So
'cause they
it's not like you miss anything critical because they keep essentially resetting. Like there are
unless
certain,
it's the Timeless Child, and then
yeah. Like you've got some very obvious start and stop points. I mean, like 9 into 10, you almost have to watch because
Yes.
of the continuous companion. Mm-hmm. But 10 to 11 is a clean slate.
yes,
11 to 12, you theoretically have the continuity with Clara, but from 12 to 13, it's a clean slate. Mm-hmm. So like there, and even for the older ones, you've got a lot of clean slates in there. It's a very easy place to pick it up, and because they
Yeah.
always re-explain the whole background every time you start with a
Every
new
time,
companion,
yes,
so you can pick it up whenever they've started new and not really be
yeah.
that lost.
yeah.
So-
But like,
I give it a try. If I don't like it, I drop it, and then I come back.
I mean, I
next time
have
they start
recently
over.
dropped it. Like after like this past season, I'm like, I can't anymore. I'm like, the Doctor is another female Doctor who has a TARDIS, but it looks exactly like the TARDIS of the police box. But the only way to have that police box is after the first Doctor, William Hartnell, would have came to Earth. But she's pre that Doctor apparently.
Oh, so
why would
they're messing with their own timelines.
yes?
Yippee. Good
It's a lot of
times.
confusion.
So I'm just like, there's no way she could fit in with like the canonical order that we know.
Yeah.
So she must be a past Doctor, but it doesn't make sense for her to have the same blue box TARDIS.
Right.
Fuck the continuity.
Pretty much. But all right, I'm gonna stop complaining about that.
Oh no, it's fine.
I could,
So, s-
Go on
All right,
forever. Yes.
I probably could.
so Sibs, what you got for us?
Game of Thrones.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've not seen it.
Neither
I
have
I put it
can
on-
go.
I put it
sans
on my
spo-
list.
I can go sans spoiler. Don't worry.
I mean, do you two ever plan on
no,
watching it?
No, that's the
No.
thing.
Oh, okay, so then that's fine.
Like we don't. I'm just saying. Like I've never seen it. I put it on my list in case no one else brought it up for some reason because
Oh no, it was
all I ever
bound
hear
to
is how
come up.
terrible it was. Yeah.
Okay, so I am not of the opinion that it was terrible. I am of the opinion that considering they knew what the theoretical ending was, they tried way too hard to stick to their proposed timeline of, oh, we're going to be done with it in 70 episodes. When they hit the end of season 6 and then are like, oh shit, we've got this much story left to tell? Now we have to rush through everything and cram it all into 10 more episodes.
Idiots.
Yeah.
The last season, I mean, like, yeah, there were definitely things in it that I didn't like. Like, I
Weren't they
didn't
making
like
enough-
the ending. Like,
No,
I'm
the
not
ending
happy
sucks.
about how it ended, flat out. But, like, it feels like they did way too much, way too quickly, considering how comparatively slow the story moves for the first 6 seasons. Like,
weren't they making enough money that they could have just kept going?
well, but
Or
see,
did
the whole
nobody
thing
wanna keep
was when they
going?
pitched it to HBO, they said, okay, this is our plan. This is our timeline. We're going to have
but-
this whole show done in like 70, 72 episodes or whatever the number was.
Which was like
yeah,
their
but
contract.
HBO. Yeah, but I'm assuming that it made HBO a ton of money.
Oh, it definitely did. But
Why wouldn't they want to renew it to try and continue that?
because part of the problem became filming schedules. There's a reason that the last season came out so far after the previous ones. It's because they can't film in half the countries they were filming on their original schedule because of global warming melting ice.
Oh.
Yeah.
They kind of inadvertently got their show screwed up because of global warming. So
Yeah.
they had to postpone the original filming schedule for the last season because the weather wasn't behaving. And because most of the show is dependent on, because they did a lot of like on location shoots in like Scandinavia and whatnot. Well, if the weather is crap for what you're expecting it to be, it doesn't work out as well if you can't actually be in the places that you're supposed to be at the time that you're supposed to be there.
Man,
Green
I don't,
screen everything.
I don't remember North of the Wall having this much greenery.
Right? but
Yes, the frigid lands that the Starks rule over. It's just like temperate
yeah, they basically
weather.
didn't have enough winter was the problem.
Yeah.
So they had to
winter
postpone.
came, but not
Yeah,
as much.
winter came and went very quickly.
They should have gone like upstate and like filmed in the ski resorts.
Yeah.
I still don't think there would have been enough snow for them. But
Yeah.
the problem, my biggest problem was that they tried to cram too much into the same length of season that they had the whole time. Because pretty much every season is about 10 episodes. And they tried to do way too much with not enough time at the end. And especially because the whole like key to them getting the show greenlit in the first place was the whole story that they always tell is that they were able to tell George R.R. Martin who Jon Snow's parents were. Like they figured it out, they got it confirmed with him, and that was what allowed them to get the go-ahead from him to do the show. And it's like, okay, so if you knew this, you've presumably been talking to the man. Considering he hasn't finished writing the books yet, maybe get some like helpful guidelines like, okay, well, the books are heading this way, so maybe do this. Well, the last season
it's over.
was
Let's just say
kind
spoilers, because the two of them are not going to watch it, and anyone who has watched it, yeah, ask George R.R. Martin, hey, would Daenerys burn down a city just because they weren't happy that she was invading them?
probably not. Would she
I
have
just
been
love-
mad about her dead dragons? Yes.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I would be too. But yeah, I just love, I'm not going to be anything like my ancestors. Instantly becomes
And
like her
turned into
ancestors.
And the whole Sansa sending her brother back to the wall. It's like, why are you sending him back to the wall as punishment? There's nothing to be guarding against.
A, there's
You
nothing to
don't
guard
need
against, and
the wall.
and B, the people that sent him to the wall are fucking dead.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's all about honor. And you know how
Sounds very dumb.
you know how honorable the Northerners are, up until they invade King's Landing and start raping and pillaging like anyone else would.
And there's
You know.
also a lot of raping and pillaging. All the time.
So many seasons of just like, oh yes, the Northerners, they're so honorable. They're the most honorable of the people. Until they invade King's Landing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh great, so they're no
No,
better
they're just
than
the same as
Dothraki.
everybody else.
Yeah, they're no better than the Dothraki. And yeah, and then fucking what's his butt going back to Cersei. You know.
Oh yeah,
meanwhile-
no, that. Yeah,
all that
no,
development
he
with-
totally had an out with what's her face with Brienne of Tarth,
Brienne.
and I mean, granted, he was not a great person to begin with.
Oh, no,
anyway,
he was
but
a
he
piece of
totally
shit.
could have turned over a new leaf, and no, he decided to go back to his sister.
He had so much character development of being a better person, and then he's just like, nah, gotta get all up in my sister again. It's like, god damn it.
Yeah, but also then the whole thing with Brandon, with like this character that basically vanishes for 3 seasons, all of a sudden being like the most important character. It's like,
Yeah, now he's
no,
now
not
he's the
feeling
Messiah.
it. Yeah, not.
Hello,
feeling
I'm
it.
back. I'm the Messiah. I killed everyone that cared about me. Well, a few people.
Yes, because that's what they do.
Oh god, I hated that line when they were deciding, like, hey, so now that the war's over, what are we doing? How about democracy? Ah ha ha, that's stupid. And I'm just like,
Yes.
ugh.
The only
That's such a
character that
dumb
should
line.
have ruled didn't, and it was a bummer.
Yeah, instead he's just gonna go guard the north against nothing.
I was
will
talking.
remain ever vigilant.
I was more talking Tyrion, who drinks
Oh.
way too much. But yeah,
Right, Tyrion. Yeah, Tyrion would have been a better ruler.
Yeah, I mean, at least practical. Like, thinks about things. You know,
Is
didn't
incredibly smart.
Yeah, I mean, put the person that actually has a brain to good use. But
No,
you know.
no, he's just gonna go do whatever.
Don't you know people with brains never are the ones who rule?
I'm just still happy that Arya turned out to be a total badass. That was the only good outcome of that entire show. Also,
Yeah, and
all
then-
the dire wolves that just vanish. Like,
Yeah.
they're such a big deal at the beginning of the show, and then they just disappear, and that's it. I mean, half of them die, but, like, the rest of them, like, why don't they come back? We know they're alive. Oh, well. That was a disappointment.
Yeah, it was all around incredibly disappointing ending.
Especially considering, like, every season before that, like, they made it a habit of, like, episode 9 would, like, be this huge, like, big battle or, like, the biggest bombshell of the season happening. And then episode 10 was, like, kind of, like, winding it down and setting you up for the next season. And then it was just kind of like, okay, this whole season's been a bummer. It was very poorly designed compared to all the previous seasons. It was very much of a letdown. It definitely could have been worse, but it should have been so much better.
One thing I hated that people kept complaining about is like, how are they getting around so quickly? What are they teleporting? And I'm like,
Yes.
what do you want? Like minutes of scenes of them traveling through different places? Like, fuck off. Like,
It's not Lord of the Rings.
yeah, it's not like we're gonna have 10 minutes of them trekking over the mountains and then over the snow and then through the river and then through another forest. And it's just like,
To
no.
the woods. To grandmother's house they went.
Like, yeah, they were in the north, now they're in the south. Fucking deal with it. Oh, were they
Yes.
fast travel? Fuck off. That guy that I saw so many people talking. God damn it. Anyway.
Who's next?
Dale.
I'll go.
Oh, was that,
Oh,
did Dale bring anything?
wait.
Did Dale bring anything?
Yeah,
up yet?
Dale brought up 70s.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And I wasn't going to bring up Game of Thrones, but...
Okay.
I beat
actually, I
So
do have something.
you-
Okay. Dexter.
I've never seen it.
I never finished it.
Such a good show. I stopped
At
at
the
the 4th
beginning.
season, and I stopped after the 4th season, and I feel that I'm better for it.
I don't
is that
know.
where it
I-
starts getting weird between Dex and Deb?
Yeah, season 5 is when
Yeah,
the weird
yeah.
faux incest begins, because
Yeah,
they're
no,
not
I could leave that alone.
they're not actually siblings, but they were raised as
I-
siblings.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's adopted, but like from very young age.
Yeah.
Like baby.
oh yeah, baby. Like
Yeah.
toddler.
Yeah,
He was
toddler.
like 2 or 3.
Yeah, like watched his parents get murdered. Oh, get adopted by the cop that found
Mother.
me? Great.
It was just the mother.
I feel like that's a conflict of interest when you adopt the child of a case you're on.
You would think, but
But hey, it's
'cause
Miami, it's fine.
No, that was his actual son because he was sleeping with the.
oh yeah.
I
he was
forgot
sleeping
about
with
that.
his intel person. He cheated on his
Yeah, on
his
Deb's
wife
mom.
and had Dexter and his
And that's how it got
His
to
mo-
be extra creepy because they really were siblings.
yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I stopped at the end of the 4th season where his wife got murdered, and I was like, you know what? That was
the last
suitably depressing.
That was
And
the
so I
last season
stopped.
that I saw. Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was the last season I saw.
and then the next
but
season started, and I heard everyone's like, this is fucking trash.
Yes.
So I stopped watching it because back when Netflix was streaming and DVD, you could
yeah.
only get Dexter through DVD. So I would get it. It was back when I had it. So I got Dexter through DVDs, and they only had up to like the season that you were talking about, Dale, where his wife dies.
Yeah.
And then the next season came out. We didn't have Netflix anymore. Like I ended up getting just the streaming
Yeah.
because my parents didn't want Netflix anymore because they didn't understand what streaming was back then. they're just like, what is this? We just rent DVDs and stuff, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna pay for the Netflix then, but I'm not paying for DVD because that's like an extra $5 and I don't have money.
Yeah.
So, but now my parents use the Netflix more than I do because now they know what streaming is and there's no other way to watch anything anymore.
Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not worth paying for Showtime when you can find it elsewhere. It's on
Yeah.
Netflix in full. If I want to watch it, I can go there instead of paying for Showtime.
Oh, but so
Yeah, there's like some other
wanna-
weird shit too. I think his sister ended up shooting their boss or something at some point.
Yeah.
Whoa,
there was
what?
a lot
Oh my
of
God.
weird stuff.
What?
Yeah, let's see. Deb suffered no repercussions after shooting LaGuerta. Masuka had a daughter for some reason. New characters were introduced only to be disposed of quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
The
They
show kind of became a bit of a dumpster fire.
They didn't test well.
No.
Yeah, it was dumb. Apparently the books are way worse though.
Really?
Because in
I
the
didn't even know there were books.
it's based on a
it's,
novel series.
Darkly Dreaming Dexter. When I bought the first season on DVD, it came with a copy of the first book. Didn't read it, but I have it somewhere.
do you know what the major difference is?
What?
It's not just that, he's traumatized from, his horrible experience as a child. No, there's a dark entity inside of him
Yeah.
that is urging
That's-
him to kill. And when he has a kid, it gets passed down to the kid.
Yeah.
Hey Dale, you know what that sounds like? A metaphor for disabilities, mental disabilities.
Yeah, except that doesn't end when you have a child.
Oh, it wasn't in him anymore?
No, the entity passed on to his child.
That's so stupid.
I
then.
think
I thought you were trying to say that
No.
he had it in him and his son now has one.
No.
I'm just
Don't-
like that
don't
just
quote
sounds
me
like
on it.
mental
The
disability.
Dark Passenger.
Yeah, the Dark Passenger is what it's called.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, a
really
little
dumb.
bit.
I can see why they didn't put that in the series.
Yeah.
All right, Peter, what did you want to bring up before?
Okay, so it's a series that Rob Lowe makes fun of me all the time for because he's like, you should have seen it coming. But the show itself is great until the literal last 3 episodes, and I think some of you might know what I'm talking about.
Probably.
Oreimo. I can't believe
no.
my sister can't be this cute.
Oh
Oh,
god.
yes, yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, so the series is so funny. Like it is just about this one guy. He's this one teenager who finds out that his sister is a huge nerd, but nobody knows it because she's like the shining star of the family and in school. Like she's super smart, athletic, and everything. And he's kind of a bum. Well, not really a bum. He's just normal. He's just normal. Like there's nothing special about him. classic anime protagonist, I guess. But he has a funny, sarcastic personality, so he's not really nothing. Either way, I'm digressing. The whole point is that the show is hilarious because it's like hijinks of him trying to hide the fact that his sister's a nerd for her, because now they're starting to actually bond because they always hated each other. And he ends up befriending like people like that are also nerds because he's trying to get her to become friends with people in the same interests without her having to worry because she has nobody to talk to about this stuff. It's a really nice and funny show. And then the whole thing is everybody loved this one side character who the main character ends up in a relationship with, but they end up breaking up because of reasons. I don't even want to go into it. It's stupid. And then the last 3 episodes, which were like released all at the same time, in like a mini movie thing, ruined everything because even though the show is called My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, no one thought they were gonna go the incest route.
And then they did.
And then they did. Ugh. And it was just horrible. Nobody liked it. Nobody enjoyed the ending of it. We're just like, come on, man. Like, he had best girl. He had Kuroneko, best girl. And then you made him throw it away. And fucking, like... And the worst part is like... They, like, he like, had all the main heroines, like, all the girl characters, all confess their love to him at some point in these last 3 episodes. And he turned every single one of them down. Ugh. And then he went on to go, and then he told his sister that he loves her, and she's like pissed and annoyed, but she's also like crying because she's also always secretly loved him. Ugh. And I'm just like, oh my god, it hurts so much. And then they have like, to top it off, they have one little scene at the end where they pretend to get married. Because they're like, we'll never be able to do this for real. So they like are like wearing a tuxedo. She's wearing a bride's dress, and then they kiss, and I'm just like, oh, it hurts. God, I feel so fucking betrayed. It was just, it's literally, as far as I know, the worst ending in anime ever. And everybody hates him for it, and even the creator of this show, his sister fucking hates him because he has a sister.
Wait, was it that show? I thought it was a different weird incest show where...
Oh, he made another one. He made another weird incest show.
If I was his sister, I'd be kind of nervous spending time around him anyway.
No, she does. Well, yeah,
he seems to have a bit of a one-track mind there.
No, yeah, I think she like said like I'm never going to be near him again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she
essentially disowned him.
He
Can you disown a sibling?
No, but that's why I said it, essentially.
Damn. Like, I would like to think the law was on the sister's side. It's like, we're gonna allow this. You can disown your brother.
Your brother gives off super creepy vibes? Granted.
Talking to a lawyer, like, can I disown my brother? What did he do? He made 2 animes where the main character is in love with his own sister. And they're like, well, it is a law now that you can do this.
Under these special circumstances, we grant you the power. But God, I was so fucking mad. And Roblo, who like knows about the show, he's just like, Pete, what did you expect was going to happen? And I'm like, I don't know. I figured they'd just be like, in a better relationship like the show was making it out to be. Like a better brotherly and sister relationship. No, they went full on incest.
I think it was a night where like me and Rob were in the same room talking about this, and we're just like, no, it can't end any other way. It's going to end in incest.
I feel like this is like the 3rd show in a row that we're talking about. Yeah, how it's just terrible because there's incest.
Yeah,
I mean, Dexter was terrible for other reasons.
Well, yeah, and Game of Thrones is also terrible for other reasons. This one is literally just terrible because they actually had incest. and that's
The incest-
because the show would have.
ruined it.
Yeah, the incest
Yeah.
ruined it, not spurring other plot points.
Yeah, it was terrible. He literally could have gone with anyone else. People would have been like, oh, people would have probably been okay with any other result, because best girl, he dated, and then she broke up with him, and then when they were to get back together, he didn't, and because he was now hot for his sister.
So in other words, stop watching before the last 3 episodes.
Oh yeah, you can literally watch the whole entire show up and just don't watch the last 3 episodes, and you're fine.
Sounds fair.
Because that is when the show literally just makes a 180 out of nowhere, and just goes that way. And I'm just like, God damn it.
I just imagine his publisher is just like, no, please.
And then he's like, we're already too far in. You have no choice.
And then he did it again.
And then he did it again, and it's worse.
Oh no.
Like, I'm not even going to talk about that show. I refuse.
Yeah, it's fine. Because that was bad from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like, because the whole thing is, like, it started out that way. Like, everyone who watched it knew what they were in for. It was absolute.
Oh, yeah.
It was an absolute dumpster fire of a show.
Okay.
All right, Dale,
That's-
take it away. What do you got?
Something non-incest related.
Oh, Freddie's
Okay.
got something.
Definitely not incest. X-Files.
Yes.
That
Okay.
got really bad, especially when Mulder left the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was-
We're back to the whole people leaving the
Yep.
show.
Yeah.
Everything goes to
yeah, I
shit.
kind of forgot about this one, but yeah, at some point in the later seasons, Mulder leaves the show, and or David Duchovny, but yeah, he left, and it was just Scully, who, still a great actress, gets paired up with
Yeah.
like this dude who's just a wet blanket. Like they, am I remember that correctly? Like he was kind of like a dick.
Yeah. Isn't it the same guy who played the thing from Terminator? Or am I
Yes.
thinking of something different? Yes.
Yeah, it was the
okay.
guy from Terminator 2.
Yes.
Yeah, they replaced
did,
David Duchovny with the Terminator from Terminator 2.
What did David leave for?
Just to do other things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Went to do Zoolander.
Went to go, hang out and have a huge cock.
What?
Yeah, David Duchovny's packing, man.
How do you know that?
He's a porn star.
What?
He used to do like softcore porn.
I'm
Did not know
assuming.
that.
I'm just gonna assume Dale found this in.
I've
his
I've
research.
heard this from multiple people.
He,
I have
he hasn't
never
gone
seen-
looking for it himself. of
Yeah,
course
I've
not.
never seen David Duchovny's penis in real life or on the internet. I've just heard stories.
I've heard a tale of this penis.
Like literally, he's in that show Californication, which is literally
Yes.
about him having a huge penis and getting pimped out by some woman. Anyway, but yeah, like it kind of did the weird like table turn where it's like now Scully is the weirdo who's like, oh yeah, supernatural stuff, and this guy's like, I don't believe in any of it because I'm new.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, really,
I
like
forgot about that.
like we fought a fish person with a lamprey mouth. And also we once got like mind controlled by giant mushrooms. Like shit's crazy.
Oh yeah,
yo.
yeah.
Oh, that one's so good. The one where they accidentally inhale spores from like this weird fungus and start hallucinating like their best lives.
Yeah.
Like Mulder proves that aliens are real and everyone starts respecting him. And that turns out all to be a hallucination. Oh god.
Yeah. I always, it's like these seasons I always forget that they exist because I'm just like mentally blocking them out. So I'm like, they're not good. The show ended at this point.
Yeah. Actually, that's how I felt about The Office.
I was gonna have to bring that up too.
That show should have fucking ended with Jim and Pam's wedding.
That show
Yeah.
should have ended when it was British.
I love the
that's
American
some
Office.
fighting words.
I think it should have ended when Michael left. That would have been a
too.
nice little natural conclusion. But it's like after he left, it was kind of like, well, fuck, what do we do now?
Time
There's no one here.
to just spin the wheels and see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, there was some okay episodes after that. Like I loved the last episode. That's like 2 episodes. But yeah, no, that show should have ended way before its time.
Yeah. Personally, like I said, Jim and Pam's wedding.
Yeah, that would have been an also nice little end-off point.
And then we wouldn't have had all the horrible stuff afterwards where it turns out Jim is a horrible fucking partner.
Oh, yeah.
Accepts a job without telling his pregnant wife.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Complete career change without even telling her. You know, not at a financially unstable point in your life at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Yeah, I love all those little compilations. Like, no, Jim actually kind of is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I would say Jim's the villain of the series.
Yeah, more or less.
Like, imagine being in Dwight's shoes.
Oh.
Like, you just want to go to work, do your work, and then there's this motherfucker every single day just picking on you. Like, come on. Like, that's... If you were Dwight, you would hate him, too.
Yeah.
I probably would have broke his jaw, to be honest.
I'm surprised Dwight didn't shoot him with a crossbow.
Probably considered it a number of times.
Oh, most likely.
As much of a weirdo as he is, like, he's not a bad person.
No. He had weapons all over that office, though, so I'm
Oh,
surprised.
I remember.
And so that one episode where they're going through it, just trying to find everything.
Just, like, multiple things up in the ceiling panels.
In the ceilings, underneath desks, underneath chairs.
God.
Then there's...
That's concerning.
I know it has nothing to do with it, but there's like that theory that Toby is actually the Strangler.
Yes. Toby was my favorite character.
Oh, Creed was my favorite.
Oh, sorry. I meant Creed. I got the
Toby was the HR guy.
Yeah.
Where he kept going on about the Scranton Strangler, and like I forget what it was. Someone did like a whole video about it. Like, no, he probably was the Scranton Strangler.
Yeah, well then. Oh, God.
All right.
Great show. Should have ended much sooner.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna bring up a movie
Mm-hmm.
All right.
because we've been talking about nothing but really about shows.
Yeah, I guess it's true. That's because it's like I feel like with shows, like
it's more
people don't want. Yeah, people don't want to give up TV shows.
Yeah.
They want to run as long as possible.
Well,
so
'cause
you have a
you've al-
lot of options.
Because you've also got typically a lot of build-up.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to see how it pans out to see if they salvage it, even though they usually don't. Once it's gotten off the cliff, it doesn't usually get back up.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I want to talk about Signs.
Ugh.
Signs.
Signs, the M. Night
Oh.
Shyamalan film.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Include the village in that conversation.
Which one was the
I
village?
thought it was.
Oh, that's
that
the
was-
old-timey
that-
one.
Oh,
That's
yes.
Yeah.
Where it turns out it actually turns out they're in current times. They're just
Yeah.
isolated inside of a fucking park.
I forgot about that one.
Yup.
Like what at the thing is like at the time, I feel like Signs and The Village, I enjoyed those endings, but I can't go back to them
No,
because it's
'cause
cringe.
they're
Because now
terrible.
it's cringe.
So
They're terrible.
Tell us about Science, Freddy.
Signs was a who was that? It was not Mel Gibson.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
It was Mel Gibson. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't know why I couldn't remember exactly who it was. They start getting like crop circles in their field, and aliens start like showing up, and they keep getting like little glimpses here and there, and like it builds up decent tension. But then like you see how hard like it just like I feel like it just ends on such a, like a weird note where it's like, oh, they can get hurt by water.
Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah. Because like the whole thing is, I enjoyed the movie literally until that ending.
The ending is just
because, like you said, the build up is fantastic. They do,
and then
they do
but like
such
then you
a
actually
good
see
job.
the aliens, and then it's just like,
It's like, okay, what is this generic
Okay.
motherfucker?
and then it's like, swing for the fences. I'm like, because like the wife was like
Swing away, yeah.
Yeah, swing away. She was like trapped between two cars or something, right? Or
Oh,
she
yeah,
was
it
in a
was
No,
car
she got
accident.
she got pinned against a tree, and the car was holding her together.
Okay, I think probably thinking one of the
Eh.
parody films then.
Oh yeah, you're thinking of
Scary Movie.
Yes,
Two?
that's what it
Three?
was.
3.
Or, no,
Two
it's
or
three. Yeah.
Three.
Three's the one that made fun
Three.
of Signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because two was the one with the my little hand.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
strong
That's my
hand.
strong hand. That's a great movie on its own.
It is.
But yeah.
Might be better than the movie it's based on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Where
like,
was I?
so she was like swing or something in like the
Yeah,
past.
she was. Yeah, she was just like saying all this random stuff, and then like he's like, I get what she means now. I forget the guy character's name. He's like, grab the bat and like swing, and like he swings and hits the alien in the head, and the glass of water falls and starts burning it. And I'm like, why would they come to a
Yeah.
planet that's like 70% of this water?
And rains all
Yeah,
the time.
right? Yeah, like the majority of the planet is water. There's humidity in the air. It's
Yeah.
probably poisonous for them to just breathe our air.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be like if we tried to colonize Mars, and it's like, well, 70% of the planet's surface is hydrochloric acid. Also, it constantly has acid rain all the time.
To be
Yeah.
fair, humans are pretty dumb, so
That's
you
true.
know.
So, oh yeah, it makes sense. Aliens are also dumb.
You know what? Now I like to think that like when the aliens went back to their home planet, they just have like this huge political debate. Well, who thought this was a fucking good idea?
I like the idea that the aliens
like-
are just a bunch of frat bro aliens who are like, yo, dog, check out this planet. I never paid attention in science school.
Fuck these nerds.
Fucking nerds. I'm gonna go bully people on Earth, Earth.
Earth.
Head to this Earth planet and go bully them. That's why you always research a place that you're traveling to.
It's true. Yeah, no, I felt that movie just, it was so good, and the ending just kind of made me go, oh.
Yeah, it
Like-
was a kind of ending.
But I think that's like majority of his films are just kind of like, this is going, oh.
They have like they always have those
The
twists.
twist, but it's just like, it's like a twist, but it's just like, but
But the whole thing is like
Why?
once you see the twist, it's
Yeah.
not worth it anymore.
yeah.
There's
Like
no
The
rewatch
Sixth
value.
Sense. The Sixth Sense is a phenomenal movie
Yes.
until you know what happens, and then it's like, oh,
Well, that
Okay.
that at least you can watch it again and be like, oh, here's all the points that
Yes.
yeah.
This is why this happened. Yes.
Yeah,
But,
this
like-
is why no one ever
like-
actually fucking interacts with him.
Right. But like The Village, like it was good up to a point, and then it's like, oh, so
And then-
it turns out that all of these people just stayed here because they're afraid of a monster that doesn't really exist, and the only reason that they're still not going to find out is because the person that got out is the blind girl that's not going to know any different.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
the problem with that is like, okay, so she was born there,
Yeah.
as are like
Yeah.
most of the people there,
Everyone.
assumedly.
Yeah.
Except how
All the-
how old
all-
was like
anyone,
the people in charge that knew?
They were like in their 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
were-
not
That means they would have had to like decide on this like in their 20s
yeah.
to make this
Yeah.
work. It makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Sounds like a cult.
Yeah, it essentially is, which most
I mean, well-
most of the people
Well, I
aren't
mean,
aware of.
the whole thing is like unless they decided it when their kids were babies, and they wouldn't remember
That too.
otherwise.
That's also an option, but yeah, like just the idea of like
Because the whole thing is like the reason they did it is because all of them had like people they loved die, like because of terrible reasons, and they're like, if only we had our own little place to be, and so they chose a little fucking village, which is like the size of if you put mine and Frey's property together.
yeah. Also, at which point
I-
like,
like-
you got to think about like inbreeding at that point.
Yeah.
It's a
Because
very
there were only
short-sighted
so
idea.
many people that lived there.
Yeah, it was.
We're
In-
back
and then-
on the incest.
oh god
And then
damn it!
yeah, we're back. We're already back.
It always
Incest
comes back to
podcast.
that, Freddy.
Wait a minute. Damn it!
Hold on a second. Which podcast episode is this?
Now I want a sequel to The Village where it's several generations down the line and it's essentially just Hills Have Eyes, but from The Village.
Yes.
That would be fucking horrible.
I would actually kind of want that now.
Wrong turn. Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn. One
Yeah,
of those.
essentially what it
Could
is.
go either way.
To be fair, as far as I know, other than the guy who got stabbed, the blind girl, and the special ed case, there was like no one else that was of a younger age. So the next generation is literally just going to be the blind girl and the guy who got stabbed's kids.
Yeah,
That's it.
I guess all those people are just not having kids, and they're just gonna
So in
die
other words,
out.
what was the point of them moving into this village if everyone's just gonna die anyway?
Yeah, that movie fucking falls apart. Well, they're all morbid. That's the trick, is you gotta get a bunch of morbid people who don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes when you actually try to pick it apart, but that you can probably do that for almost
Yeah,
any
just like
movie.
that giant hole that guy fell into.
Oh my god!
Man, fuck that movie. Anyway.
Anyway, so let's bring up a video game.
Okay.
So, I'm sure everyone would probably think of something like Mass Effect. Never played it. Not going to bring it up. You know what I'm going to bring up? I'm going to bring up Fable 3.
I played a little bit of Fable 3. I didn't get far into it.
Alright, you didn't miss much because it wasn't a good one. And the ending, there really isn't any ending for you. Like, because the whole thing is like, you get to the main villain, and he's like standing on a pillar. And he's monologuing. He is telling you his everything he's done, his plans. Meanwhile, you have a button that just says shoot him. Shoot this motherfucker dead. And if you push that button, your character just shoots him and he falls off and dies. That's it.
Okay.
And you also, if you don't push the button, the person in your party will get sick of listening to him talk and will shoot him for you.
Real quick, this is Fable 2 you're talking about.
Shit. Fable 2.
Yeah.
Fable 2.
Even better.
Yeah, it was Fable 2. Yeah, because you have like the person who's the embodiment of strength, who's like this huge buff woman. The person who's like the embodiment of spellcasting, who's like this magic dude. And then like the person who's the embodiment of finesse, who's like this shitty fucking pirate that sacrifices people to like an altar so that they can stay immortal. And yeah, it's the pirate. They're just like, I'm tired of this, and just shoots the person.
It's so dumb.
It's
And
really
yeah,
bad.
and you know what? You're right, because I was thinking of the box art. I was like, because I was like, which one was it again? Was it 2 or 3?
Oh, they're all the
And
same.
I was just like, they all look similar, so it's just like, it's probably this one.
Yeah, no, God, that's just such a disappointing ending. Because, like,
Yeah.
at that point in the game,
talk about it.
because start of the game, kills your sister. Towards the end of the game, kills your dog. And says, oh, also off-screen, I murdered any of your spouses. And then you go through this huge fucking tower thing, and then it's just like, ah, yes, my monologue, and then dead.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
Yeah,
So
it-
anticlimactic.
There's no satisfaction.
yeah, it is the most
Can't get
anti...
now.
Because it's
Yeah.
not even like you shoot him, like, a bunch of times. It's just a single shot to the head.
That's it. Just one single shot, and he just goes, ah.
Yeah, and then he falls to his death or whatever, if the bullet wasn't enough.
Oh man, I feel
Yeah,
so
it's-
cheated if I played that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad.
you would have been pissed. You would have been so pissed.
And then you get to keep playing, but your dog's fucking dead.
Yeah. So there's no joy in this game.
Well,
anymore.
except, because the whole thing is that his goal was to build this tower, and the tower would grant him a wish. So at that point in the
Okay.
game, you have a choice of either spending the wish to bring back your dog and essentially your dead loved ones,
or become rich.
or become rich, or revive
get
all
ultimate-
the civilians that died building the tower. And it's
So, yeah.
the most pointless. It's everyone picks the dog because the dog is
Yeah.
useful. Also, it's a dog.
Yeah. Everybody loves the dog.
Because there's no reason to pick the civilians, because all you get is a boost to your karma, which at that point in the game, the game's over. So who cares?
Yeah.
And I think like
and
a
there's no
statue
real
gets
reason for
built of
money
you.
because and like in all honesty, like you can just steal everything.
Yeah. Also, there's a real estate system where you just generate money based on buildings you've purchased. So literally, the only choice is to bring back your dog, your spouses, and technically your sister. Because there's like a post-game thing where you get a letter from her saying that she's alive again because of the wish.
Nobody cares. Save the dog.
But no one cares because it's all about the dog.
But yeah, I figured I'd throw in a video game.
God, I forgot
and
about
probably
that. Thank you for reminding me of that hatred.
Oh, you're welcome. It was so fucking painful. It was so painful. It was probably the like how I said how Oreimo is probably the worst ending for an anime ever. This is probably the worst ending, in my opinion, for a video game ever.
Yeah, like I tried to think about like movies and games that I could bring up, but like nothing really came to mind. Mostly because I blocked them out of my memory out of hatred.
I have only one other video. Actually, no, I have two other video games I could talk about, but let someone else talk, and I'll go back.
I have a TV show.
Okay.
What you got?
Did any of you watch The Killing?
No.
No, I think which one was that?
What is this?
Okay, so The Killing, it's a number of years old at this point, but it starred Joel Kinnaman and I can't remember the actress's name, but basically it was a remake of I think, Swedish TV show.
Okay.
And basically what the whole thing is it's a murder mystery. Beginning of the show, there's a dead kid, and the whole thing is they were promoting it saying, you'll have a resolution, you will find out who the murderer is by the end of the season. Well, end of the season rolls around and cliffhanger, and you don't know who the murderer is.
Oh.
That's some
So
bullshit.
people were really angry, but then
That's
it's
some
okay
serious
because
bullshit.
they announced a season 2. Well,
This doesn't make it okay.
exactly. And then you find out very early on in season 2 who the murderer was. And then there's the rest of season 2, and it's like, I have no interest in watching the rest of this show because there's not really much continuity once you have the murderer from the first one, and it's like, why am I going to keep watching it?
What was the point of the second season?
There was a new crime.
Well,
It was supposed to be like a serialized type thing. So it was originally supposed to be like, oh, one season you'll have one case, the next season you'll have another case.
Okay.
That would be fine.
It would.
Why didn't they just tell you who it
They
was?
screwed it up, and because like the whole thing was.
They screwed that pooch so fucking hard.
Yeah, and the whole thing was, they're like, and it's not gonna be the same person that was the murderer in the Swedish show, so if you have any familiarity with that show, it's gonna be someone different. And it was like, okay, so I know who it's not gonna be, and then like the whole hype of like, oh, it's gonna be like a murder mystery in a season, and it's like, but then you dropped the ball and didn't finish it. And then the rest of the second season was really not great. So it was like, why did I felt like I was cheated. It's like, I should have just not even watched the first season.
Betrayed.
Yes. And there was, because there was another show that was similar in concept, but actually delivered in a similar, I think it was around the same time, called Harper's Island.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that one either.
Harper's Island, so that one actually kind of delivered on what you were expecting. Originally, that one was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a murder mystery, but so basically what happens with that show is there's a wedding, and it's on Harper's Island, and all of these guests are there, and it's a very small island community, like basically everyone that's at the wedding, like that's the population of this island plus the guests that traveled in that don't live there. Like only like a handful of people actually live there. And what happens is in every episode you get a murder. Because there's
so every episode there's a murder.
There's a serial killer on the island running amok during these wedding festivities. And the whole thing is like, you might think that it's one person, and then that person dies in episode 5. So now
what you're saying is it's Werewolf, the TV show.
Yes. But like they really played up the concept, but the problem is nobody watched it, so it never got renewed for a second season, because originally what their plan was to like make every season like its own little serial killer mystery type thing. So it was all going to be like focused on different characters, different locations, and things like that to keep it kind of fresh. But so like you go through watching, and like they did like really nice little things to keep it interesting. So if you know how like some TV shows, like the episodes will have an episode name, and sometimes they'll say what the name is, other times they won't, depends on the show. That show, I think it said the name of the episode at the beginning of all of them, Well, the names of the episodes were things like Splat or like Gurgle.
Ka-chunk.
All of the names of the episodes had to do with the noise that the body made when the person was murdered in that episode.
Okay.
That's actually pretty cool.
So, like, they
that's a
really
clue.
played it up. And, like, it's like, I wished The Killing had been something like that. Because, like, Harper's Island was, like, it was a great mystery. Like, I totally called who the murderer was, like, with a handful of episodes left to go. But, like, it was a good mystery. But, like, The Killing, like, the same thing. Like, it was a good mystery. They left you trying to figure out who it was, and then they just completely dropped the ball with the end of that first season. And it's like, why couldn't you? Because I think you find out in, like, the first or second episode of the second season who it was. It's like, why couldn't you have just ended it in one
just
season?
throw it at the end.
Yeah.
Throw it at the end of the first season and call it, and then start the next season.
Exactly. And then season 2 could have been so much better than it was. But
So
no, they dropped the ball and ruined everything.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stick to rewatching Clue again.
If you want the good murder mystery, I recommend Harper's Island. It was a very good one. Very
Alright.
entertaining.
I agree. I
The
recommend
first
Clue.
one, yeah, Clue's good. I say the
Yes.
first one reminds me of Broadchurch a little, just the way you described it.
Yeah, except Broadchurch, you find out who it was.
Yes.
It's a very
just saying, make the
similar
description.
thing, except The Killing takes place in Seattle and Broadchurch takes place in Broadchurch. But it's
Yes.
a very similar concept. I mean, you've got the two detectives trying to solve the crime and all of that. Like, it's a very similar show.
Yeah.
Except one you get the payoff, the other one you don't.
All right. Well, what's everybody got next?
Well, I also think any show where there's, like, an overarching, like, plan to it, as soon as that end game happens, it's hit or miss whether or not the show continues to be good if it continues on beyond that plan.
I mean, if they, like, plan something as its own, but that could lead into something else, then I think it's fine. Like, as long as it, like, is in some way builds on the previous thing.
Right, but if
Like-
they just completely drop, like, if they had a plan for, so the show Supernatural. Mm-hmm. First 5 seasons was the plan. Like, that was Endgame from the beginning. Was 5 seasons. And then the show kept getting more and more fans, and there were more viewers, and ratings were doing well. So they're like, well, let's keep going. But then the showrunner left. And it's like, okay, the show is still good, but it's not great anymore.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
Right. And, like, the show was great for those first 5 seasons. And then
Oh, yeah.
and then you start getting away from the monster of the week, and you start
more of
getting
a
into the whole gods and
storyline,
all of that,
yeah.
and it's like it's still good, but it's not
not
the same.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, watching that, like, I loved it.
Up to
I
a
absolutely
point.
love the show. Yeah, like, literally what you're saying. Like, after, like, that season, I was just like, that's nice, where it's a nice end, but I kept watching, but it felt different, and now this makes sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I don't mind it up to a point, but then it starts to kind of drag. And I admittedly, I think I watched up to season 10 and, like, halfway through 10, and then I kind of fell off that wagon and never got back on it.
Yeah, there's like 10 or 11.
Yeah,
I was
but there's
on
like 13
season
seasons,
8
so
or
it's
9.
like at this point, like, wanting to go back to finish it, it's like I don't know if I
Don't
can do
wanna.
it.
Just watch Scooby Natural.
3 seasons.
Yeah,
of
that was
something
so
you're-
good.
Oh yeah, like 3 seasons of something you're just not into anymore. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's
because
like,
I started watching it and yeah, I loved it because I love Monster of the Week shit.
yeah,
And then then I started like no, it just becomes more about like the main plot. I'm just like, I don't care.
And like I don't mind like I like the Monster of the Week format, but like you also had like each season had its own overarching plot that like would wrap up by the end of that season or wrap up by the end of the second season. But like when the Monster of the Week type stuff went away and it became all about that overarching plot, I feel like it lost something.
Yeah, like, even if I threw in like at least like 1 or 2 Monster of the Week episodes each season, that would be good.
Yeah, to kind of break it up a little bit.
They kind of did sometimes, but I will say, I feel like they repeated a lot of issues because like it's like Sam and Dean had to keep learning the same things over and over with each other
and kept
like
dying.
Yeah, like they keep dying, but not only that, like they keep having. Oh, apparently there's no limit for this one, but the whole thing is like they keep having the same brotherly issues. Like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, we have to do this.
Yeah,
like they keep like it was too much. The same squabbles, and they never. It just like it's like, come on, guys, this is like what the upteenth time that we've gone through this.
But that's just like real
you've all died 3 times. You should learn that you don't want to say those hateful things before the brother dies a 5th time.
Just like real siblings.
Yeah. I mean, my brother just died last week.
I meant more the repeated squabbles thing, but yeah.
Oh right, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, but yeah.
The Monster of the Week stuff was always the best part of that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Same thing with the X-Files, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's the same thing. It had an overarching story with Monster of the Week stuff.
I kind of did. There was like a few episodes in the first, because it's all about Mulder's sister getting abducted.
Yeah.
And there's like the weird like cigarette man and yada yada. But yeah, once it became like all about that, it's just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people, but not me.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of shows lose their way once they get away from whatever the original plan was. Even shows that are based off of books or movies or anything that are based off of like a source material.
Mm-hmm.
It's good while it follows the source material, and as soon as it veers to the left, it is hit or miss. I mean, even like The Walking Dead.
Ugh.
First
I never got into that.
First couple of seasons were very good, and then
I never enjoyed The Walking Dead.
Well, the first season was excellent
The
for
first
all of the
season
6
was really
episodes.
You know
Second
who loved
season-
The Walking Dead?
Huh?
I never liked it.
I said, you know who loved The Walking Dead?
Who?
New York Comic Con.
Yes.
Oh my god, they have like
They should have given that up like 6 years ago.
I know.
It's so dumb.
It was
like,
good up to a point.
Their badges are always
Dude,
It was
like
good up to a
but
point.
you know they're paying Comic-Con a shit ton of money.
So much money.
I've heard some shit about like where the show is at this point, and like Rick's character just straight up left the show on a helicopter. Like he was doomed or something. He was surrounded by zombies. A fucking helicopter shows up and takes him away, and he is never seen again.
Yeah, because I think they did it so that he had the possibility of coming back, but I don't think he wants to come back.
No.
How many shows are there now? There's The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead.
I think there's supposed to be a third one starting
That's what I'm gonna
up.
say.
There's
yeah.
Michonne, like the straight. Wait, was it just called Michonne or something, or was that Fear the Walking Dead?
I don't know.
No, I don't even know, man.
I think
I hated
I don't
that show.
think
I know there's Talking Dead.
Yeah, but
Not anymore.
I know. Oh no.
But yeah, like, wait, P, we watched it at your house a bunch, and you liked it.
No, I watched it because everybody
because
else
he
liked
had
it.
to.
I
Because
actually
everyone
hated
was
it.
watching it.
I actually hated it. Like, I never told you guys because you guys always wanted to watch it, and I just
You should have
enjoyed
fucking said
having
something.
you guys. Well, I
Everyone
enjoy having
secretly
you guys
hated it, and everyone
over.
was just like, "Oh, we have to watch because someone else."
I enjoyed it for the first bit, and then it started deviating from the comic way too much. They completely changed a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
And then the entire like plot fucking changed, and I was like, "Fuck this."
Like-
Also, I got
like
sick of the
sometimes-
comics too.
Like, sometimes changes from the source material work. Other
Yes.
times, it shouldn't happen.
Fucking Andrea dying for no fucking reason. Meanwhile, in the comic, she's a complete badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they basically just switched her with Carol. Carol's ends up committing suicide, and then it's like, nope, she's essentially what Andrew was supposed to be.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like, for certain things, it's okay. For others, it's not. I mean, for some characters making it through, if they make the character worthwhile, then I don't mind it. If the character becomes terrible, no, please get rid of them sooner.
No, because there was a number of things that they changed that I was not a fan of, because it was like things you can't do
Integral.
on TV.
Yeah.
For instance, the whole conflict in the first season between Rick and Sean, I think it was, the guy that was banging his wife.
Shane.
Shane. Yeah. In the show, Rick kills him. In the comic, Carl kills him.
Yes.
He straight up shoots Shane in the neck while Shane is trying to murder Rick. But because it's TV, they're like, well, we can't have a child killing a person.
Didn't they kill him in the show, though?
Shane?
Yeah. Oh, no, he still died.
Yeah.
Essentially the same way. It was just that in the comic,
It's the
Carl
Who.
kills him. Yeah. And it's
No,
kind
I'm
of...
talking about, didn't Carl get killed?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
he's dead.
Well, then how could... that makes no sense. We can't have a child kill someone, but let's kill the child.
Oh, no, he was a
It's fine.
teenager at that point.
And nobody liked him
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
Yeah, because he was the worst. And then there's the part later on where, two of the people that die early on, their kids get left behind, which in the show was the two daughters. In the comics, it was two sons. And yeah, one of them kills the sibling because they're like, oh no, they'll be better once they're a zombie. And they ended up changing that too.
Yeah.
Because Carl was like, well, let's just kill him because he murdered someone. But in the show, it was...
the creepy little girl that Carol kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was supposed to be two boys, and Carl was
Yeah.
supposed to be the one who was like, let's kill them. Or kill him, because, yeah.
Because
There's
he's
a
a
lot of weird
liability
shit.
to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb shit they changed for no particular reason.
Especially considering it was airing on AMC and it's cable, so it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. Also, the complete change of, the baby was supposed
the
to
baby
die.
not being a zombie.
No, it was, God, what was his wife? Lori.
Lori.
Oh, yeah, it completely changes how she died, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she died giving
birth, right?
She died giving birth. In the comics, she lives, and then the governor shoots her while she's
And the
running
baby.
away. And while she was carrying the baby, the bullet went through her into the baby, and they both died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming TV would never do that, though.
Oh, if they had the balls to do it, they could.
But damn, we're
We're at
yeah,
the
we're
time.
good.
At that
We
time.
could probably actually do another one one day.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Seems
so-
like we run
so
into
this
that
is-
a lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do. It's because we like this one. I wasn't sure about because I was like, I can't really think of anything.
Same.
But then I started actually like going through the stuff.
And
I
then
have,
you
and I
realize
was
that
like,
there are many, many things that disappointed you. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I just, before the show, I just Google, like, the topic.
Well, Dale,
Unless it's something else.
I try to speak from the heart.
Oh, I mean, yours works.
I think them up as we go along, so.
Yeah, I try to
I mean,
think
that's
them up
fine.
if I can. I kind of just like look around, online. But sometimes it's just kind of like I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I'll just see what I come up with in the moment.
Yep. Well, it's been a fun podcast, but I think we're at our end. I want to thank everyone for listening. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, like the video, follow on iTunes and Podcast Addict and Spotify. And
On your local radio station.
yes,
Yeah, find us on Sirius XM. Just
All right,
keep
everyone.
searching. You'll find us eventually.
we're up there. We're up there, but we're there. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Yep. It's been. I've been Pete.
I continue to be Dale.
I've been Sibs.
And I've been Freddy, and I'm going to go to bed. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Freddy. How many more shows will not end before their time? Will Game of Thrones get the Brotherhood treatment and get the ending it so rightfully deserves? And how many more seasons will our podcast last? Find out next time on the podcast.